नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Sri Mahants, Mahants, Tanedars, Kotari, visitors, viewers, owners of Sarvanyapita, everyone sitting with us through Nityananda TV, Sadhana TV, Ara TV, Nakshatra TV and two-way video conferencing, and having Nayana Diksha all over the world, and in Nityananda Sabha in Varanasi. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Cities sitting with us: Kuala Lumpur Adinam, Los Angeles Adinam, Oklahoma Adinam, Vancouver Canada, Seattle Adinam, San Jose Adinam, Ohio Adinam, New Zealand Adinam, Toronto Adinam, Philadelphia, Montclair, China, Mexico, Dublin, Singapore Adinam, Spain, Trinidad Tobago, Dakota Dunes, Nityananda Nagara Bididi, Houston Adinam, St. Louis Manchester, Doncaster, Hyderabad Adinam, Kastau Croatia, Rajabalayam Adinam. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Before entering into the verse, I wanted to explain some basic truths about seeking, which is explained in these verses. See, if I explain the basic concepts, the truth expressed in this verse will become more experiential for all of you. When you are tired of dreaming, or you can't handle dreaming anymore, you decide to wake up. If there is a nightmare, if there is a fantasy dream where the dream becomes too sweet or too harsh to handle, then you wake up. Same way, the waking state, if you make it too sweet or too harsh, you will become awakened. Making it too harsh, becoming awakened, is the lifestyle of renunciation. Making it too sweet and waking up is lifestyle of devotion. Listen. I'll repeat. In the dream state, if you see two tigers are chasing you or snakes are chasing you, it's harsh to handle. You will wake up. Same way, if it is too fantastic, exactly the same place you always wanted to be is there, the same person with whom you wanted to be is there, you will suddenly wake up. If it is too sweet, you will wake up. Too harsh, you will wake up. So the dream state is sustained in the struggle, not in the extremes. Listen. Only in the struggle the dream continues, not in the extremes. Same way, in the waking state, if it is extreme sweetness, you will be awakened. Or extreme harshness, you will be awakened. But as long as there is a struggle between these two, the struggle between the extreme sweetness and harshness, greed and fear, is what is your incompletion. As long as there is a struggle, you will continue to maintain this waking state. This state, you will continue to maintain. If anyone takes over, it's all over. Allowing the lifestyle of extreme harshness and awakening, getting awakened, is the lifestyle of renunciation. A Naga, a Agori, allowing the extreme sweetness and awakening is the lifestyle of devotion, a Shaivite. Using both the process and getting awakened is a lifestyle of Nityanandite. I use all available possible methods, process, kriyas to help you into awakening. Whether it is nightmare or fantasy dream, you will wake up. You will wake up. You will wake up. Understand? Neither fantasy, dream, nor nightmare will let you continue sleep. Same way, neither extreme harshness nor the extreme sweetness will help you to continue your waking state. It will lead to awakening. It will lead to awakening. I tell you, if life itself brings that harshness and awakens you, if life itself brings that sweetness and awakens you, you will be wasting lot of time. You voluntarily getting into that state, cooperating for your awakening is what I call seeking. It is not that Every night you wake up with a nightmare or fantasy dream. Many nights you wake up because you are too tired. Understand? Same way in your life also. It is not that all the time you can get the extreme harsh dream, harsh reality, or extreme pleasant reality. Creating either extreme harshness of reality or extreme pleasantness of reality leads to your awakening. Cooperating with the life to create extreme harshness or extreme pleasantness is seeking. Either with the concept of Shiva, you can make every moment of your life extremely pleasant. You know, this is the place Sadashiva walked. This is the very air he breathed. This is the very forest he and Devi spent so much of time. Every tree here is the descendant of the trees which had the fortune of having darshan of Sadashiva. Still the moon and the sun is a living witnesses. You can go on cherishing this and get into the extreme pleasantness that will lead to awakening. Or you can deny everything, including your own existence, and that will lead to extreme harshness. Again, you will be awakened. Use anyone, cooperate with anyone. Allow the awakening to happen. That's all is essence of life. That's all is essence of life. Your self-doubt, self-hatred, self-denial neither allows you to experience extreme harshness or extreme pleasantness. If you go through pleasantness, you doubt it. No, this cannot be permanent or eternal. If you go through harshness, you build a hope. No, I'll get out of it and I will have pleasantness, joy one day. The hope stops you going to the extreme harshness. Doubt stops you going to the extreme pleasantness. And you don't allow both. Continue to enjoy your struggling state, incompletion, because only that will maintain your ordinary waking state. Sleep is the base material out of which the dreams can be dreamt. Confusion is the base material out of which this waking state can be perceived. Only if you are in the state of sleep, you can dream. Only if you are in the state of confusion, you can see this waking state. Understand, that is why confusion is a very precious investment for you. It's one of the most precious investment. Most precious investment. But I tell you, let confusion not become your most precious investment. In every step, every line, every inch of your life, if confusion becomes your basic stand, basic foundation, then imagine the amount of time you are wasting, energy you are destroying. There is a beautiful verse in Taittiriya Upanishad. Anandam brahmeti navyajanat. Bliss is God, don't waste it. You may think, what do they mean by don't waste it? Don't waste it by attributing it to your confusion. If you think confusion is bliss, if you maintain the stand confusion is bliss, you are wasting your life, destroying your life. You are wasting the bliss, destroying bliss. Anandam brahmedi navyajanat. See, your day-to-day habits get recorded in your muscle memory. Your lifestyle patterns, like what you feel about you, all that gets recorded in your biomemory. Cleaning up your muscle memory can be done by building good habits. But cleaning up your biomemory, what you feel about you consciously, can be done only by awakening the seeking. Awakening the seeking. Listen carefully to this statement, to these truths. Seeking either leads you to extreme pleasantness or extreme harshness of the reality. In both ways, it awakens you. Whether you get into completing your individual existence, or whether you get into expanding your individual existence into cosmic existence. If your individual existence becoming cosmic existence by devotion, it is called upasana. If your individual existence becomes nothing by allowing the cosmic existence, it is called vipassana. In both extremes, you are awakened. Whether upasana or vipassana, you will be awakened. But go to any one extreme, only then you will be awakened. Don't continue to play in the field of confusion. You will continue to be just in this dilemma, waking state. Dilemma destroys your dignity, takes away your respect for yourself. Dilemma destroys your dignity, takes away your respect for yourself. Today we are going to be having a long session for inner awakening participants. It's going in high speed. This inner awakening, I can say, is one of the unique inner awakenings where this no break IA, which I introduced, the concept of no break IA, NBIA, no break inner awakening, they are completing with all the inner awakening processes, and then Shivoham process and third eye awakening practice, and enjoying Kashi. Today we are going to be working with the world and my world, which is going to be quite a enjoying process, a joyful process. So today's satsang's essence, upasana or vipassana. The subject for Vakyartha Sadas, understanding upasana and understanding vipassana, how both leads to awakening. With this, I bless you all, let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing living Advaita, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/LifeBlissFoundation.
नित्यानन्देश्वर सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वर्यादिशक्तिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Shri Mahants, Mahants, Sarvanyapita Yajamans, Tanidar Kotari, visitors, viewers, sitting with us through Nityananda TV, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all over the world, in various ashrams, centers, adhinams, temples, having Nayana Diksha through two-way video conferencing. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Today I'll speak on one of my very favorite subject, puja. If I just see last 39 years of my life on the planet Earth, what is the activity in which I have spent maximum time? Not yoga, surely not talking to you guys and taking class, not doing Sangha activity, not doing meditation, at least equivalent of the time I spent on all these activities, I spent on puja. Sometimes 11 hours or 15 hours at a stretch I'll sit and do puja. Understand, I may promote the Shaivite rituals, Agamic rituals, but I myself was Sakta. I practiced Shakta tradition, Sakta Sampradaya, means worshipping Devi. Basically, I received Bhuvaneshwari Vidya from my Guru, Vipudananda Puri, after I had darshan of Devi appearing, and I made the deity of Devi with my own hand in a stone variety called soapstone. In Tamil they say Mavakkal. It is a kind of a soft stone. I myself made tools with my own hands and carved, took the help of local carving artisans, few hours their support. So after I did this deity, my Guru was thoroughly impressed, and she gave the Bhuvaneshwari Vidya and Bhuvaneshwari puja method, the practice. In those days there was no Google, so the local library is the Google. I'll go and sit in the local city library. It is not, I should not say city library, a village library. There was a government library where a lot of books will be there. And Ramanashram also used to run a library. So I used to go there and sit and download the books. I used to go and sit and copy the puja patadis available in the library. You can all see the deity I carved after having darshan of Bhuvaneshwari. Exactly as I had darshan, I carved her. I carved her. Actually, my life started with puja. It is Ganapati puja, Ganesha puja, with which my whole life started. If I am not doing what I am doing, I will be only doing puja. I would have been a pujari. just sitting in some remote corner Shiva temple from morning till night. I may be just sitting and pouring water on the Shivalinga, chanting some slokas I know, or the mantras I know. That would have been my favorite time pass, or life pass, I should say. After I started preparing the manual, my guru used to correct the spelling mistakes, and she will give me the meaning and procedure. Before every puja, I'll prepare elaborate manuals to instruct myself and study. Still, fortunately, we have few manuals protected by my mother. Some of the manuals I prepared for Sri Vidya and Ramakrishna Puja and other Shodasopachara Pujas, like Sadashiva's Puja and Ganapati Puja and Durga Puja and Vishnu Puja. Still we have some of the manuals, fortunately. Much of them are Sanskrit and Tamil mix, means in Sanskrit script also I'll write the mantra, and then Tamil script also. I'll write the mantra and write the meaning in Tamil, procedures in Tamil. We do have some manuals with the Sanskrit script. Can you get that? Devanagari script. Some I'll write only in Tamil. But I'll first prepare elaborately to educate myself. Thanks to my grandfather who put the seed of puja inside me, I have seen his sincerity. See, when the business hours increase, he will come back to home only night 1 o'clock. And after 1 o'clock he will take bath and do the night puja. Night puja will be only 10-15 minutes. Then he will sing for some half an hour, all the stotras. He will go to bed by 2 o'clock. Next day again he will be awake 4 o'clock, take bath and do his pranayama. I have not seen him doing yoga, but I have seen him doing pranayama. He will do pranayama and start his puja. He is not a great pandit, but whatever few mantras he knows and stotras, with that he will do a very relaxed, spending lot of time, not hurry-burry, washing and cleaning those deities, clothing them and jewelling them and applying sandalwood paste and offering flowers or bay leaf and then the Naivedyam. Elaborately, very relaxed way, at least 1 hour he will spend. I have seen this from the time I remember me. From the time I remember me, I used to sit with him. It's like a Skandamata's age itself. My mother used to put me where he does puja. So only hearing his morning puja bell, I'll open my eyes. Most of the days, his puja milk is the prasadam, first food I'll consume. Thanks to him for the sincerity about puja which he put inside me. Fortunately, it has grown, it was nourished by my other gurus, mentors, ultimately culminated into a completion by Arunagiri Yogeshwara's blessings. He himself materialized and gave a Bhuvaneshwar yantra and a Shivalinga and Jnananjana box. Still I have all of them. Some of the items I took it to him and he blessed and gave. Some of the item he materialized and gave. And that one activity, I should say, just I'll sit and soak myself in Bhava Samadhi. The number of hours I spent in yoga, number of hours I spent in talking to all of you, number of hours I spent in my public life, number of hours I spent in meditation, all put together cannot cross the number of hours I spent in puja. Understand? I am an intelligent man, I will not waste my time. I think this statement should make sense to all of you. Why puja? If an intelligent person like Swamiji, who doesn't waste time, has spent so much time on puja, then there is something there need to be explored. These are the few deities my grandfather gifted to me. They are trying to project the pictures. I'm waiting. Yes. There is two Shivalinga you can see. One green, another one small metal. I think it's Panchaloka. That green one was gifted to me by my grandfather, and that small one was gifted by Arunagiri Yogeshwara himself. He materialized and gave. That Panchaloka Shivalinga was materialized by him, which is there still with me in my puja. And all the other vessels were given by my grandfather. And that Annapurani he brought from Kashi. When he went to Kashi, he brought and gifted it to me. Thanks to the great love he planted inside me about for puja. Let me explain some of the important things you need to know about puja. The first truth you need to know, God exists and He accepts your love, your devotion, actions you perform as demonstration of your sacred sentiment that I love you, I am surrendering, I recognize your existence in my existence. Whether you are happening to me in the form of joy, health, wealth, bliss, contentment, all the good things I feel as good things, or some things which I am not yet able to recognize as good things. You may be happening to me in whatever way you want, whatever way life is happening to me, but I do recognize your existence in me, in my life, in my existence. Sharing this truth authentically is what I call devotion, bhakti. Manifesting powerful cognitions about the universe is bhakti, and manifesting powerful cognitions about everything that exists is puja. Puja is the time you naturally manifest most powerful sacred cognitions about life, about universe, about God. Especially if you understand those mantras, the sacred sentiments, meaning behind those mantras. We will start soon classes, sessions, for every one of us to understand the sacred sentiments. When you sit with those sacred sentiments and Bhava Samadhi, I tell you, it is literally Shaktipada with Sadashiva himself. It can manifest so much of powers, state of Sadashiva, space of Sadashiva, and powers of Sadashiva. It can just do wonders, I tell you. Fools are those who don't know the taste of Shiva Puja. It is actually literally missing an important component in the life. When I use the word Shiva Puja, maybe you should take this as a meaning of Ishta Devata Puja. I don't want to exclude the Shaktas or Vaishnavites or other deity worshippers. Because now I am practicing and promoting Shiva Puja, I am using the word Shiva Puja. Otherwise, you should take this as a Ishta Devata Puja. Whoever is your Ishta Devata, I tell you, the Ishta Deva Puja physically sitting and cognizing the Archavatara and collecting all the things needed to offer it to him, and offering by invoking the tremendous sacred sentiments and just getting soaked into it. It's a methodology of creating Kailasa wherever you are. You have power to manifest Kailasa where you are. And your sacred sentiments are so powerful, he has to recognize it. And he is waiting to recognize it. Sadashiva may not need your puja, but he is waiting to respond to your puja. Your sentiments are different. You think, oh, if he is waiting for me, then he needs me. No. He doesn't need, but he responds. He is alive, very much alive, available. Puja is 100 times more than sitting in mandala process with me. When you sit with me in the puja, the Shakti Pada is 100 times intense than the mandala process. Because the sacred sentiments invoked. And just like a wave, raising and settling, raising, and it settles into your muscle memory. The sacred space of puja the sweet space of puja. So it is such an intimate romance, I don't have words to describe it. Romance described loses its sweetness and sacredness, becomes dirty. Same way, these are such sensitive, intimate, personal feeling, most sacred, sweet space with Sadashiva. Even the people who assist me with my own puja cannot understand the kind of a wide smile and the madness I radiate during puja. The joy I radiate during puja. They only know that I am in samadhi, so I should not be disturbed. So they, out of politeness, they arrange everything and support, but even there they can't understand. Being around me so long, they can't understand the kind of the mad joy I radiate. I tell you, Bhava Samadhi should be tasted when you are in human body. Whoever is your Ishta Devata, that is not an issue. In Hindu tradition, all gods represent the Purana Brahman, the Paripurana Akanda Satchidananda, Chinmayananda Swayam Prakasa, Jyoti Swarupa Brahman, the ultimate. All gods represent ultimate. You can choose anyone from 33 crore, and if you are not satisfied with any of them, you can create one, no problem. Hinduism gives you complete freedom. Samadhi means being one with the source. Adi means source. Sama Adi means one with the source. Bhava Samadhi means being one with the source through this attitude. Bhava means attitude, aspect. Krishna is one of the aspect of the ultimate. Rama is one of the aspect of the ultimate. Devi is one of the aspect of the ultimate. Ganesha is one of the aspect of the ultimate. Subramanya is one of the aspect of the ultimate. So whatever aspect you choose as your Ishta Devata, it can be any god. It can be Shiva, Subramanya, Ganesha, Devi, Vishnu, Munishwara, Kalabhairava, Veerabhadra. We have so much. And if you don't like anyone, you want to create something new, free, go ahead. The aspect, bhava, you choose Through that bhava, being one with the source, samadhi is bhava samadhi. Knowing this bhava is adi and being in sama with that is bhava samadhi. Your Ishta is the representation of Akanda Satchidananda Paripurna, Nirguna Brahman. A person who has a pet and lived with that pet for years only will understand his love and sentiment with the pet. Other fellows will look at them only as dog or cat. Only a person who cherished, lived will understand he is part of his family. Same way, only if you enjoy the puja you will understand it is not stone or a deity, it is God Himself. People who never had pets can never understand the pet lover's sentiment. They will only cry foul. Oh, they spend so much money on dog, they spend so much money on cat, rat. Why you spend so much money on all your stupidity? Who asks? You need to understand the truth. Only if you taste it, live it, enjoy it, you will get it. Only then you will get it. Not otherwise. You need a little bit of initiation and tuning to enjoy one of these most important aspect of cosmos, most important sattvic bliss. So today and tomorrow we have Samaya Diksha and Vishesha Diksha for all the Sadashivatva and Nityanandam participants. Those sacred truths and sentiments rising in your system and settling in your muscle memory and biomemory will tune you to be in Shaktipada with Sadashiva continuously. Puja is practice and fulfillment of devotion. Not just practice. I tell you, fruit of devotion is puja. Fruit of puja is devotion. So essence of today's satsang, for all the participants, fruit of puja is devotion. Fruit of devotion is puja. So with this, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam, the eternal bliss, Sada Shivoham, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful. सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वरि मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। इस समय हमारे साथ उपस्थित सभी दर्शकों और भक्तों का मैं प्रेम एवं आशीर्वाद सहित स्वागत करता हूं। I welcome all the devotees, disciples, samajis, satsangis sitting with us in all over the world through Nityananda TV, Sadhana TV, Lotus News Channel and two-way video conferencing. Cities sitting with us in two-way video conferencing. New York, Varanasi, Guadalupe, Rameshwaram, Ohio, Prayag, Toronto, Kailasam, Los Angeles, Arunachalam, Vancouver, British Columbia, Houston, Kalahasti, Kuala Lumpur, Palani, Paris, Home Temple, Nityananda Nagar, Thiruvannamalai, Charlotte, Srisailam, Seattle, Chidambaram, Singapore, Singapuram, Oklahoma, Somanatham, San Jose, Madurai, Paris, Home Temple, Hong Kong, Sirgari, Indrani, New Jersey, Richmond, British Canada. No, British Columbia, Canada. Okay. Enriching Temple, Bidadi, Oman, Sivagangai, Bangalore North, Monterrey, Mexico, East London, UK, Port Washington, New York, Bogota, Colombia, Dubai, Vaidyanathan, Warrington, UK, Dallas, Dwaraka, Slovakia, Shivaloka, San Diego, La Jolla, Port Washington, New York, Nepal and Bangalore North and Varanasi. I welcome all of you with my love and blessings. Today, 20th batch Inner Awakening successfully going on 7th day. Today we are going to start completion with others. 17th batch Ingenious 7th day. 19th batch Nirahara Samyama, level 2, 4th day. And 20th batch Nirahara Samyama, level 1, 2nd day. 9th batch Di Samyama, 7th day. Today, Leela Dhyana is Bhadraikku Vadil Vetriyalitta Padalam. Means, I'll give you the story. Once when Rajaraja Pandya was ruling the Madurai kingdom, he was jealous of a singer, Panapatran, a great Shiva devotee. The singer will sing only in the temple, not in palace. But that king was so arrogant, he wanted them to come and sing in his palace. So he declares competition between another one female singer and Panapatran's wife. She runs to Mahadeva. Comes and sings. Even though Panapatrai, the wife, sang well, king gave the verdict in favor of other singer. The wife says, come on, your verdict is biased. Let's go to the temple and sing in front of the Sundareshwara. Let him give the verdict. So when the king came to the temple and sat in the presence of Sundareshwara, and the same competition was conducted, Sundareshwara entered into the heart of the king, and because of Sundareshwara's presence, king could not give a wrong verdict, and he gave the right verdict that she won the game. So the Leela is Mahadeva directly intervening even in the small problems of people. Please understand, he comes to you not only to give enlightenment, even to the court to solve your cases, to help you and to save you. Even from small things, he is directly attending. Understand? That is the beauty of the Hindu tradition. We don't keep him only in the high pedestal. Of course, we keep him in the high pedestal, but he always comes down even to smallest things, to attend even to the smallest things. So he is great because he comes down, not just because he sits in the high pedestal, not because he sits in the Garbha Mandir, because he comes out of the Garbha Mandir. He is great. He is great not just because he sits in the Garbha Mandir and receives the puja. He is great because he comes out of the Garbha Mandir and gives Sarvadarshan. Today, Mahadeva is gracing us the Leela of giving the victory in the court for our female devotee. I really wanted to tell you all today this one thing. Don't take this Leela Dhyana very lightly or casually. Listen to these stories. Contemplate whenever you have a little time. I am telling you, it will help you so much in the completion. The completion process, it will help you so much because please listen. It is not that Mahadeva was doing all these dramas only during the Pandya's time or Meenakshi's time. He is still continuing to do all the Leelas. He is continuously available. So even remembering these Leelas will bring so much of completion to your heart. I tell you, somebody asked Ramakrishna once, "Oh, Bhagavan, if you have not started teaching all of us, what you would have become?" He says, "I would have taken a body of an old Brahmin lady who has become widow while she was very young." Means, in India the marriages are held at the age of 6, 7. Sometimes the girl will not even see the husband fully and that fellow will die somewhere and this girl will remain as widow forever. Ramakrishna says, I will get that kind of a life where I am married at the age of 5. Before even I went to the husband's house, the husband will die, and I will be a child widow sitting and having a small hut in the banks of Ganga, growing my own vegetable and having a cow for milk, and whole day I will just sit, think of Krishna and his leelas, drink the milk I have, and eat the vegetable I grow. I will spend my whole life in the leela dhyana of Krishna. He very beautifully describes in Bengali, if I did not take up this Sangha work, if I have not taken up this work, all I will do is sit in front of our Anandeshwara and just be lost in the Leelas of Mahadeva, which he has done in Madurai. Of course, all over the world. I tell you, only people who understand the amount of completion bhakti can bring in your system. Please understand, it's altogether a different channel. Whatever your wife talks, you can never understand. What you speak, your wife can never understand. What a bhakta speaks, a so-called normal man can never understand. That's why these so-called normal men, they always call bhaktas as crazy, and bhaktas always call this normal men as deluded or living in illusion. But in my court, if the arguments of the bhaktas and the so-called normal men, the logical men, if it is brought, I'll naturally vote for bhaktas. And I tell you, Cosmos votes for bhaktas. Let me define bhakti. People who experienced completion out of the emotion which happens due to the higher consciousness pastimes. Please understand, your pastime always leads you to incompletion. An incarnation's pastimes always leads you to completion. Your past always leads you to incompletion. An incarnation's pastimes always leads you to completion. If you constantly remember what you did when you were a child, you will be in more and more incompletion. If you constantly remember what Krishna did when he was a child, you will be more and more in the space of completion. Leela Dhyana. I tell you, Leela Dhyana is such a powerful space creator. Listen. Beyond certain level, your intellect will not have a strength to create a space. For example, when you learn about the power of the space, you will create a space. Come on, I am creating a space to build 10 ashram, 5 temple, 300 ashramites, 200 sannyasis. You will fail. You may fail in one item, means one dimension, you may fail. You may be successful in some. You might have created 10 temple. You might have created 5 ashram. but you would have missed in the sannyas number. When you fail in one, you lose confidence over you. Again you will create certain space. I am creating space for this and working. You may fail in one or two things. Please listen. Your intellect does not have a strength to stand up again and again and create the space and face few failures when it happens in your life. But the emotion, bhakti, devotion is so powerful, it can create again and again, tirelessly, right space for you. That is why I tell you, always only the bhakti-based traditions survive and win the test of the time. Never intellect-based traditions. Never the traditions which are basing themselves on intellect withstands the test of time. Please listen. What I am talking is a very important thing. Your life is also one tradition. You may not know. You may not know. Your whole life, either you depend on your intellect or on your emotion. You may not remember Krishna, but you may be remembering some other leader. You may be remembering some other person whom you think as ideal. But I tell you, devotion, bhakti, lila, dhyana is such powerful space creator. Life is nothing but ability to stand up again and again and face it. How many ways doubts and depression attack you? Doubts and depression are so powerful, it attacks you from all corners. Life is nothing but the strength to stand up during all these attacks. I tell you, I sincerely tell you, do not believe or just depend on your intellectual clarity about completion to save you and keep you in the space of completion and take you to the ultimate space, continuously creating the right space again and again and again. If you think I am complete with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, I am creating this space, this has to happen. Great, no doubt. But always there will be some corner, somewhere, some remote corner of your life. If you have some lack of integrity or inauthenticity, if that reflects in your result, please understand, listen carefully. will lose completely faith over you and the philosophy with which you are living. You will collapse and tumble down. I tell you, again standing up will be so difficult. Even when you stand up, you will have so much of self-doubt. I tell you, devotion, achieving completion and creating the right space out of devotion will again and again make you stand up, will give you the strength to stand up without collapsing. Even if you fall, you won't collapse. Only with intellect, the intellectually understanding completion, integrity, authenticity, responsibility and enriching, when you fall, you will collapse. But if you understand with emotion, please listen, with emotion, with Leela Dhyana, with devotion, if you understand, even if you fall, you won't collapse. And I tell you, when you create the space along with the feeling connection, emotion, devotion towards the higher consciousness, I guarantee simply failure disappears from your system. Because Krishna is not a story. Sundareshwara is not a story. Meenakshi is not a story. I can't even say it has happened. I only can say it is happening whenever you remember them. It is not past times. It is present times whenever you remember them. I tell you, when you create a space, if your cognition adds the emotional strength also, for example, you need to win in some debate, argument, or some court case. Before going, remember this Leela, today's Leela. When you can save your singer devotee in a court case from a biased judge, you can save me because you are not past, you are present. Create that space and go. I tell you, miracles will happen simply like a lifestyle for you. Miracles will become lifestyle for you. Please understand, I am not promoting any superstition. I am not promoting any lies. I am not promoting anything which I myself have a doubt in a corner of my heart. No. I am very clear. Understand, this Leela Dhyana, remembering the past times, please listen. Remembering your past times creates more and more incompletions. Remembering the incarnation's past times creates more and more completion. And the higher space, whether it is Krishna or Buddha, Mahadeva or Meenakshi, even remembering their Leelas, I tell you, even remembering their Leelas creates so much of completion in you. It heals your mamakara. Please understand. Medicine for the mamakara is Leela Dhyana. Your mamakara is such a pain in the stomach and head. See, your inner image is such a torture, such a pain. I tell you, Leela Dhyana is such beautiful nectar to heal your inner image. If you are struggling to get out of your inner image, you should complete yourself with devotion, with bhakti. I tell you, only bhakti can really make you enrich, and only enriching can make bhakti happen in you. If you had little bit of bhakti, no one needs to pressurize you to enrich. Enriching. Enriching will be just your breathing pattern. The power of enriching. When I speak about bhakti, I am stuck with words. It is like how Saraswati goes underground. It is said, Saraswati goes underground, it seems to wash the feet dust of the devotees. Same way, my words goes underground whenever I have to speak about bhakti. Just to wash the feet of bhaktas, devotees. When I remember these great devotees, how the enriching becomes such natural part of their life. Even in our Sangha, I have seen people who connect with me through devotion. They don't need this lesson of enriching. Simply, if they breathe, wherever they go, whatever they do, it is enriching, enriching, enriching. I tell you, if you build your completion with devotion also as a part of your cognition, then you will never fall into depression. You will have so much of strength. It is like a steel inside the concrete. Just the concrete pillar without steel may collapse after some time. But if the steel is there inside, reinforced, then naturally pillar life increases multifold. Please listen. I tell you exactly, if you build your completion and life just with the intellectual understanding of integrity, authenticity, responsibility and enriching, it is like a just concrete pillar. If you build the space of completion and the space for your life with devotion, it is equivalent to putting the steel rods. The space you create for your life will be multifold stronger. You will stand forever and enrich the world. Enriching. Enriching the devotees out of your devotion, enriching the world with the clarity, I tell you, I only can request, please bring devotion in some form in your cognition. When it comes to devotion, even preaching or teaching looks very aggressive. It is such a sweet, soft component of the being. It can only be shared, the smile in the eyes or as the tears in the eyes. You can enrich people with devotion only based on the smile your eyes carry. Please understand, not the smile your face carries or your lips carry. When there is a devotion, eyes will have a smile. Only a person who has experienced it can recognize it. In US, there are some secret groups. They have their own special practices, gatherings. Even in the dollar note, their symbol is there. I forgot their name. Freemasons, yes. See, the way they shake the other person's hands, they have a very like a technical signal which only the Freemasons know. So even while they shake the hands, simple shaking the hands, they will recognize the other guy is also a Freemason. When they shake the hand, there is some special place they will press the other person's hand, which only Freemasons know. So this is the way, even in a party or a group, when you go and shake hands with people, if you are a Freemason, you know who are all Freemasons there. Just a simple handshake. They have a code signal, very technical signal, through which they will recognize each other. Same way, I wanted my devotees and disciples, Sangha, to recognize each other based on the smile they carry in their eyes. All of you guys should have devotion as the component of your cognition, and that smile in the eyes, not just in the lips. Lips may not have, that is different. But the smile in the eyes is more subtle and more powerful. Smile in the eyes happens when your heart melts in devotion for the right reason, in the right context, with the right completion. I'll give the essence in Hindi. लीला ध्यान आपको पूर्णत्व की प्रक्रिया में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सहायता देगा। पूर्णत्व पाने की बहुत शक्तिशाली प्रक्रिया है भक्ति। जिन लोगों ने पूर्णत्व का अनुभव लीला ध्यान यानी उच्च स्तर के खेल का स्मरण करने से किया है, उसी का नाम भक्ति है। एक स्तर से बढ़कर आपके दिमाग द्वारा पुनः पुनः असफलता का सामना करके सही अंतर आकाश को फिर निर्मित करने की शक्ति आप में नहीं है, किंतु भक्ति इतनी शक्तिशाली है पुनः पुनः लगातार आपको सही अंतर आकाश में लाने की क्षमता रखती है। जीवन और कुछ नहीं बल्कि संदेह और निराशा के सामने पुनः पुनः खड़े होकर सही अंतर आकाश में स्थापित होना है। इस पूर्णत्व के लिए केवल बुद्धि पर्याप्त नहीं है, इसके लिए भक्ति एक बहुत ही अनिवार्य और महत्वपूर्ण भाग है। So, essence of today's satsang, let your heart ripe with devotion. The completion achieved along with the devotion is more strong, more powerful, more stable. more successful. Let you all achieve, experience, live, express, radiate, share and explode in eternal bliss. Nityananda.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027779999. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.
Sadashivasamarambha Shankaracharya-madhyama Asmadacharya-paryanta Vande Guru-paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's subject for the morning satsang is Bhakti, the song of God. Breeze is song of air, wave is song of the ocean, flower is song of the plant, fruit is song of the tree,